Hello, friends. Good afternoon. We have together with us today Advanced Tan, okay, who has been doing a lot of trainings on management, new managers, senior managers, young managers, right? So we are going to start with today 5 essential tips for managers. But before that, we will play a short video before we start. Hello again, friends. Today we have here Advanced Tan, and today we're going to hear a lot about the tips of. Hold on a second. Advanced is logged out. Okay, today we're going to hear about 5 essential tips for new managers. So while waiting for Advanced to come in back again, the main thing we're going to talk about is new managers are sometimes just thrown into the position. They are young, they are really good at the job, but sometimes they just you get thrown in and then suddenly I don't know what to do to manage all these new people under me, right? So Advance, thanks for being here with us today. Are you all good there, over there?
Yeah, I hope so. It just jump off while you're playing the
Well,
video.
it happens, it happens.
Okay,
So what are the first things? Let's
okay.
just dive very quickly into the topic. Advance, by the way, is a triathlete and was also an ex-RMC student. He has been in a managerial position. He has climbed from executive to manager. Uh, he has been in the corporate line for more than 15 years, and then he went on to do trainings. And right now, he specializes on trainings for managers. Right. So Advance, what are the most, before we start, right, what are the most common mistakes made by managers?
Okay, Vyasa, thank you very much. So anyway, it's great meeting you again. So it's been a long time, right? Okay,
Yes.
those days we still can meet each other, but today is through this virtual platform. All right, now you're talking about the common mistake. There are many common mistakes actually. I have a list about 5 over here to share with you, but actually there are more. But the thing is that not everyone will fall into these common mistakes. Some of them will be just maybe out of the 5 that I will list out later on, maybe 1 or 2 are common mistake to them. So it's pretty much depend on their situation as well. So the first common mistake I like to mention is that we always think that manager is power.
Right.
It's absolute. It's like we can do anything we want.
Right.
We had an office, we are on top of everyone, and we are there. We are there. So it depends. Certain people have certain motive of being a manager. Okay, some wants to serve, and perhaps some would see it as an achievement. So if you think that manager is all about power, then there is a likelihood that these people will be abusing their power or get into that position in a later stage.
Right.
So these are misconceptions. One of the clear misconception is manager is not about power, but I'm going to tell you what is it about later on as
Right.
part of the tips over here. Okay.
Yep.
So for this matter, if we always think that is a power, then we will be doing a lot of destructive things. One of them is to the way we communicate with people. We are driving them with fear and a lot of negativity. So we cannot do that to our people. Uh, of course, there are times that we will ask ourselves, should we be nice to people? Should we be a nice boss, or should we make people happy? So my answer to that is very simple. We don't need to make people happy. However, we should not be making their life miserable also. So we need to have a balance over here.
Right.
All right, we
Okay.
need to have a balance. So power can be used, but only on certain time, not all the time. So it's not absolute. So there will be time that you it's better to use different style to manage your people, not with power all the time. Okay, so we can
Okay.
discuss about later on about when is the best time to use this kind of power, right? So okay, so that's the first one. The second is we have sometimes we do have the thought that what we do in the past is the same as what we do today as a manager. Our job is the same, but
Right.
for most situation is not. Especially if you get into a manager where you have to manage people. So
Right.
let's say in the past you are a salesperson, you go out and do sales, you manage your own sales, you get your own customer, you meet your own target, your KPI, and so on, right? But today, as a manager, it is not just about that sales area that you have to handle. Don't forget, you have to handle your people. You have to manage your people. So a lot of times, people are not ready to do that, or they did not see it. They still do what they used to do. So they're not letting go of the old style or old things to do, but and they did not learn the new way. You know, so that is the thing. So the second one is about the previous job that you think is similar. So some people can fall into that trap. So they did not let go of their past. They still continue to do the same thing. I'm very good engineer, so I'm going to repair the machine, and all these things. But you shouldn't, as a manager, you shouldn't be doing that. You should be working on your resources. Get the people to do that work, and put measurement, put targets, or some goals for your department and for people. So it's more than just your job. So you have to let go of the job. And then the third thing is not understanding the problem you face. You see, as a
Right.
manager, you'll face a lot more problem than we used to. Definitely, definitely. So now, the thing is that a lot of times we just make a decision, and you will find that the problem comes back again. It never solves. It comes back again. The same problem can come back over and over and over. So a lot of times managers just make or dispose a decision, but it was not been well thought. So because we think that we are manager, so we have the power to say whatever we want. That could happen. Okay, that could happen. Well, of course, it does not happen to everyone, but that could happen to some of us.
Right.
Okay, so the way we dispose a problem is not done correctly in the first place. We just make a decision. Okay, red or blue? Blue. You just make a decision without
Right.
thinking, should I take blue or should I take red, or why should I take blue? Why is blue better than red? No, all this kind of thing. So there's no thought to it. So we quickly make a decision. We just sometimes we want to show our people that we are capable. We are capable of making a decision, but we just jump into making a decision. So that's the third common mistakes. Okay. Now the fourth one, we also fall. You might fall in the trap that we always think that our people should know everything, should know their
Right.
job well. Okay.
Okay.
So as much as who you are, you also won't know your job well as well. Right. So sometimes we see that this guy has been here for 5 years, should be a super performance, but they may not be. They may
Right.
not be. So we always think that they are good at it, and when they make mistake, we start scolding them. Okay, we start scolding them or we start blaming them. We start asking, "What are you doing here? What do I pay you for?" All this kind of stuff. So
Right.
some people might get into that mode, to put a blame, or not accepting the fact that that person is not that competent. So not everyone in your organization, no doubt that they are there for many years, they may not be competent.
Okay.
All right. So that is the thing. And then finally, I want to stress on communication. Sometimes managers don't really communicate well, or they don't communicate at all. Only when there's problem they communicate, but they don't really go and find out things better, or mingle around. Sometimes you need to mingle around to find out what's happening down there. Because the things that happen down there sometimes be filtered up, so you may not get the right message. Okay, so basically the communication part is very important also for
Yeah.
for us. So for new managers, sometimes they are so bogged down, right? They forgot to talk to their people.
Right.
So that's the misconception. Okay, you have any questions on
Okay.
this
Here,
area?
there's a good question from Patpal Singh, right?
Uh-huh.
Why they, like, you raised your question your point number three, lah, which is like,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes don't let go of their past work specs. And
Mm-hmm.
why do they typically not let go from your experience at one?
Okay. Of course, the first thing is the comfort zone. The
Right.
comfort zone. They prefer to work at the old way. Maybe maybe like us going to work. Sometimes we just like to use certain road only. We don't want to go other place, or we only like to eat at certain place. We don't want to go other place, even though next to it could be a better one. No, we don't. That is something that I would say a norm lah. But another one is that person is not been exposed lah.
Mm,
Been exposed, or the bosses themselves are not telling that person, the new manager, what is his new goal. It does not
mm,
make it clear. What is his new goal? Or not being guided, you should let go. Sometimes the managers, bosses does not tell them all these things. So they just say, okay, this is something new. Congratulations, I promote you. So wait, you run your own game. So this is your department. You do what you need to do. That's it. So they're not being guided. But of course, there are some companies, they have this talent acquisition or talent program. They actually prepare them before they become a manager. They prepare them way ahead. But these are normally multinational. But the non-multinational, the local company, usually there is a dilemma over here to work on this, because it really take up a lot of resources for the
mm,
organization. And then sometimes they are operating a very structure, lean structure, and therefore they have to see what is essential for them. Like smaller SMI, their goals or the way they run things are different from multinationals. They're truly different from multinational. They do, like, multinational have resources like uh, training and development, and they know how to plan. They have people to plan the whole progression of their people. So the smaller company may not have all these things. So it depends on which company you come from. There's also a lot other factor as well, a lot other factors but these are some of the reason I would say is happening. People not letting go. They are not being educated in the first place. That you got a new role, this is what you need to do. The old one, you have to pass it down. It was not been told. I
okay.
hope I satisfy the questions.
Okay. Good stuff. And okay, another question by Patpal also, right? Could trust level
Wow.
of the KPI at hand makes people not to let go? Ah, yeah, that's a good one actually.
Can you repeat that? Sorry,
Could could the
you're breaking up
reason
a little
of
bit. Could
could the reason of not letting go is because the weight of the KPI. So let's say the new manager got a huge KPI, right? So he or she feels very burdened with his KPI, and so they jump in and do the work. Okay, and then
uh
yeah, I think that's a good one actually.
Possible also, but then it also boils down in how you manage the people to do the work that is given to you. You see, sometimes when a job is given to us by our boss,
Yeah.
we thought that he only wants us to do only me. But
Yeah.
I have my people that I can pass on. But sometimes we forgot about that. So whenever your boss comes and see you and he see you in a very serious note, I want this to be done tomorrow, by tomorrow or this afternoon. Then you got a shock and you try to get everything done. But actually, it can be done by another person. Okay, that's another thing. But of course, if your people are not capable of doing it, you don't have much choice. No? There are certain things that cannot be done by them. Of course, certain work should be done by you, like report, writing report. It should be done by you, not your people, unless they are capable of doing that, right? So of course they have their level. So other than that is overloading. Sometimes your boss will just come in and give you a list of things. It might happen based on the situation. So
Right.
you need to manage that. You need to manage that. There won't be any smooth journey in any position that you take. Not all the time. And he mentioned about trust, right?
Right.
Trust. What was it about just now?
Let me just see. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Is it because of trust? They not like not being able.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, okay. I do teach one subject called time management. One of the things that we need to do is to empower people. But when we want to empower or delegate to people some work, uh,
Mhm.
one of the issue that personal issue that we have is trust also. If we don't trust that person, we will not be able to empower,
Right.
so we take away the job. Or sometimes we have another issue that's too critical. We made the first mistake, we take away everything. So
Right.
we do their job. So it become a DIY to us again, right? So
Mm.
so trust does have uh, some bearings over this. Yeah? So these are personal issues. So if you cannot trust people, it's very hard for you to empower people and get people to do the job for you. Then you do their job or you do back your old job. You know,
Right. Right. Right.
that can be also. It's a personal issue. It's a personal issue, and of
Okay.
course sometimes you would have some hardcore that is not trustable. So that would be a bad luck.
Okay. So let's see. Let's see. We will be going into the topics of what are the essential tips to be a good manager. But before that, one more question.
Ah,
It was guided,
okay.
but because of previous experience, the way of work and reporting are different. It's more of the way you are managers and you should settle the issues yourself. All right. So this is from
Mm-hmm.
one of our friends, Ikropi, in YouTube. Okay, from YouTube. He has asked this question. Um, they were guided,
What is the
but
question again? Uh-huh.
the question is, okay, if I get it correctly, right?
Uh-huh.
Uh, they basically, the upper management will tell the management, for you, you need to handle this whole thing yourself. You need to figure this out.
Okay, okay. All right, all
Right.
right. So, of course, part of your job, part of your core competency of a manager is to be very good in several areas. One of the areas they call it PSDM, problem solving, decision making. You have to be very good in this skill. Uh,
Okay.
so, uh, so especially for decision making, because most of the time you will be planning and they're making a lot of decisions. So definitely this is one of your job. But however, if you notice, most of the time in our organization, we have this thing called firefighting. We are always on a firefighting mode. So part of
Right.
the reason is because in the past we are not using the right method to solve a problem. So therefore the
Right.
problem keep on popping up, or you solve one problem but it causes another problem.
Right.
So these are very chaotic. But of course, there's also another situation where you are organized, but your boss is not.
Okay.
Okay, you are organized, but your boss is not. So I do experience that. I know you have a boss that sometimes quite messy.
Right.
Today they just come to you and say they'll ask you to do this, and tomorrow you said change a plan and so on. So sometimes you will face this problem. So
Right.
these are the beating that you have to take. Today you want to be in that position. you will have to face these kind of things. You cannot say that, oh, being a manager means everything is given to me. As I walk in the office, I got a piece of cake and coffee made for me and all this kind of thing. So those were the days. Those were the days. Today the challenges is far more greater. The challenges are far more greater. So you will be having problem with your subordinates. You'll be having problem with yourself, and of course you'll be having problem with your boss. And it would be even worse. I got one case. I have two bosses reporting to me. One of them is dotted line. Sorry, not reporting to me. I'm reporting to two bosses. So if they have a conflict of idea, I'm in trouble. So these are external issue. However, I don't always like that. Right? But if it's always like that, it's not so healthy. So sometimes you have this thing, and there'll be times that you felt very overwhelmed for the entire week and so on, very tired. So it would happen. But my advice is to be very calm on this thing. Expect these kind of things would happen. Being at the position today, a lot of people are power-based people, so they were simply today organize you to do something, and tomorrow they organize you to do another thing.
Right.
So you have this chaotic lifestyle as a manager today. Unless you get a good boss, they know how to organize themselves. They don't pressure other people, so the buck stops there.
Okay.
That would happen.
As we go along, right? Advance will be covering the actual 5 essential tips. But before that, let's just say hello to everyone. And for those who have questions or your experience in the management position, or things that didn't work before and what worked before, please share it in the comment section below, and we will definitely highlight it. All right. So Advance, just these are the friends who have already dropped in to say hello. We have Rekha, we have Patpal
Oh,
Singh, who
hello.
has asked questions. We have James Fung, Captain James Fung, a shipper. All right, from the Marine Line. We
Okay.
have Anne Fadil.
A shipper.
We have
Oh.
James Fung is interesting. He has got his own story. Okay, he definitely hear his stories later on. We have David
Okay.
Ann. Okay, we have and we have a few YouTube friends here. Kropi, Wan. We have Sherlyn Chu, right? And we have Wan. All right. So thanks again for dropping by and sharing. And those of you who have questions, please drop it in. This is a great place. Okay, Advance has done a lot of work in this area. You can drop your questions in, and we can, get him, pick his brains a little bit. Right. So off we go and go on to the 5 essential tips for new managers.
Okay. Okay. Earlier I mentioned about the first misconception, which is position is power, right? Okay.
Right.
But what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to reverse the thing. So what is position for you as a manager or leader? There is actually responsibility. It's not about power. Okay, that was a very old thinking, very traditional thinking. You are ketua for this group of people. It's all about power, running an organization. But today, as you realize, we have bigger responsibilities to handle. The moment we come in is no longer about me. It's about the group, or it's about the company. So that is where we should be heading to, and is everything that we do has to do with the progression of the company or about hitting the organization objective or goal. It's not about how comfortable I am or what kind of furniture you're putting in my office, what car I should be given, all this kind of thing. That will come as a perk, but that is just perk. But your main thing is about responsibility. What is your responsibility towards the company and towards the organization, or towards your people, the group of people that you are managing or you are supervising or you are leading? So responsibility over power, right? So power is another thing already. You make decisions based on what you like and what is comfortable for you. Responsibility, you might make a decision that is unpopular. Maybe you have to cancel everyone's leave for certain reason. to cancel so
Right.
that they or make them come back over the weekend just for this weekend to cover certain issues or to meet certain expectation of a customer. It's a last minute thing and so on. So this will happen. So when you carry out responsibility, it may not be comfortable. But how do you differentiate whether it's good or not is you ask yourself, do you represent your company well? Does it goes along with making profit for your company or giving the benefit to your company first? That is the most important thing. And a lot of people some people may not agree with you. Why do we want to care for the company that much, right? Why do we want to care? We have our life also, right? So I do understand the situation. However, don't forget, the company pays us. End of the day, the company pays us for a job. Okay, as a manager, we are not bound by 9 to 5 by right. Of course, based on labor law and all this thing, we are bound by that guideline. Okay, that area. So, but then when you are a manager, you cannot look that way anymore. If you are a young executive, maybe it's still right. But today, as a manager, and you want to be a manager, you have to take on this new responsibility. You have to go beyond that, right? So it's all about the company. So if the company does not make it, okay, they'll follow up, and there goes your job also. So it's very important that we make sure that the company works. We make sure that the company makes profit, right? So whatever we do, we have to tie up. All the decision that we do have to tie up with customer satisfaction. We have to tie up with productivity. We have to tie up with our cost control. We have to tie up with all the things that will help the company to make profit, so that they can pay us back. Right. We are not, in the private sector, we are not government. Government are different. Government, they thrive on tax. They live on tax. So it's very different. So over here, we need to make sure that the customers are happy and our sales are going on. So that we can make the company make profit and pay us and perhaps have a good bonus by the end of the year. So these are the thing that we have to think for our people, right? So it's being responsible in the end of the day. It's not about power. You greed the power and go there to have a good perks, benefits to show off to your relative and so on. Okay, so that's the first one. New job. Second one is new job means new knowledge and skills that you need to acquire. That's very important. So don't think that you're a manager, you know everything. You don't. You don't. Especially new managers. In fact, even people like me, I'm a trainer. I can train a lot of people, but I go for courses as well. I go for courses as well. I find like today nowadays we have to learn how to do online training, how to do it right, and then we like for my case I find out how it's done or what kind of platform that I should use and what are the technique, the style that I should do, and then the lighting system, the background, everything is pretty important to me. But that's my trade,
Okay.
pretty important to me. So the new things you need to learn. So you have to continue to learn. Beside that, I also learn some other things as well. So it's a lifelong journey. So as a manager, don't be too proud. Just be humble about it and continue to learn. Maybe you don't go for courses, but you still can learn from your colleagues or even the mistakes that you make. Admit that there's a problem over there, then you learn how to deal with it, how to deal with this person, how to deal with your bosses, and so on. These are all learning journey. Okay, so make sure you go for training. That's the thing. Okay. So third thing is master the art of problem solving and decision making. This is very important. So for managers, you part of your job is to make a lot of decisions. Could be operation decision or the business decision or sales decision or whatsoever. But it's all about making decisions. So you need to know how to make decisions. Go for courses to learn up this skill. Problem solving and decision making. That's my advice to you. Okay, of course, there are also other things as well, but these are one of the core things. So if you look at the competency model of a manager, okay, one of the things that you need to be good at is PSDM, problem solving, decision making. You need to be able to do that, and making decision objectively, not just about making a decision. Just throw in your answers. You work with people, or you have some template or some formula of making a decisions. Okay, so that's the third one. The fourth one is today managers are also coach. So don't expect your people to know everything. Coach them.
Mm.
So again, coaching is a very important skill, especially for leaders. So leader needs to inspire people. They need to be able to influence people and get people to do the thing, or get them to be a good performers so that they can do it right. They can perform most of the time for you. End of the day, don't forget, their result is your result. So if they're not doing well, okay, and that's your result. If they are doing well, that's your result too. So which result do you want? So you need to think of it properly. You need to be a coach. Sometimes you don't have time. Yes, I do agree with you. Yeah? But then if you know how to manage your people well, manage your resources, manage the work well, it will take some time. It's not overnight thing. You take some time, maybe 3 months or 6 months down the road, you will see yourself more stable. Then you move into coaching mode. No? So that's the thing. So your aim is to ensure that people are performing at their peak. They're performing at their best. If they are let's say a receptionist, make sure they be a very good receptionist. But that's your job also. You must make sure that they perform. It is no longer about like those days they call it performance appraisal. You don't do good, I minus mark, and that's it. Your bonus gone. But today is about helping them to be really good at what they are doing. So these are the ideal direction that we should go. So quickly get into a coaching mode, or you want to attend a course called coaching and mentoring. These are also important. So these are the two courses that I mentioned. But earlier one was a PST and problem solving, decision making, and then another one is coaching. Okay, always remember, their result is your result. You are a good boss when you can take the everything as your responsibility, including their performance. If they are not doing well, you should feel bad about it, and you should take some initiative to make them a performance. Okay, but of course, some of you may say that you don't have time, or this. Find the time. It's all about priority. What is important for you? And some of you might say that I got some people that is not coachable. Yeah, but not a lot. Out of 10 people, maybe one person is really giving you the headache. But don't be thinking that just because one person your whole day is gone. Now you have 9 people that supported you, so you have to balance it up, okay. So like some people do ask me in my courses what to do with some hardcore people just totally don't want to listen. It's best to take it up with the HR lah. Take it up with the HR for this matter. Talk to the HR and see what can you do with the situation over there. There will be one or two hardcore people. There will be, but trust me, there are also many other people that support you, and you neglect them. You give more time to these people. So those people bang table, you will listen to them. People don't bang table, give them nothing. So you have to reverse the whole thing, right? I mean, human behavior is like this. We give attention to those people who make the most noise. But those people who are quietly doing their work and supporting you and never say no to you, we ignore that. So we need to remind ourselves all the time that these people deserve more than those people who always bang table. Right? So this is very deep into human behavior. Okay, management is about that also. It's about dealing with people. At the end of the day, you'll be an expert zookeeper. Trust me. Yeah? You'll be a good zookeeper by then. Really? Okay. Okay. Yeah? So it's not just about your technical job, how good you are in sales in the past, or what. It's how you manage your people to bring the entire result for your organization. Get them to be able to be a star performers. Okay. So that's the fourth one. The final one is engage your team. You have more communication with them, maybe more briefing. But then of course, a good communication means we want to ensure that it's a two-way communication. So there are some leaders say, yeah, I talk to them every day, but every day hammer them. it is not talking. Yeah. And in the same time, we always give instruction, but sometimes we need to listen. We need to listen what is their input, if there's a better way for them to get certain things done and so on, because they are the one who do the job. Most of the time you're in the office, you're monitoring the entire performance and so on. right? So there is a chance that as a leader, sometimes we just talk too much. We just talk too much. So one way to engage is to allow them to tell you, give them the space to talk to you. So, and other thing is ask relevant question. What do you think? Like, what do you think? Or where do you think it come from? How did it happen? Sometimes you know the answer, but you just get them in a mode to actually talk to you, and openly express certain things to you, right? So that's a lot of facilitation skills involved as well over here. So these are the five things. These are the five things. Let me sum up. One is position is responsibility, number one. Number two, new job means new knowledge and new skills. Go for the training. Third one, master the art of problem solving, decision making. Fourth, managers should be a coach also. All right. Okay, manager should know how to coach. Manager equal coach. And finally, engage your team. Talk to them every now and then. Challenge them. Give them new challenge. Ask them to give you feedback. But don't make it too hostile. Even though we have the power, but don't make it too hostile. So I get back to now one thing before I go back to the questions. Yasal is okay.
Sure,
I
sure.
did mention earlier about the position is power that we can actually use, but only on certain time. Okay, when is the time to use this is when situation are bad for the company. Okay, when the situation is normal, we don't have to be a tiger all the time, or tiger or lion all the time. So there are certain times that if people are not performing, you want to bug them up, right? They are not performing, they are moving too slow, and then the customers are complaining, or there are emergency cases. So we quickly have to take the charge already. We quickly have to take away some of the comfort thing, and we start pushing them. Okay, that is a time. Then later you just go back to a normal situation. So you don't have to be a tiger all the time. Some people does that. They are like tiger all the time. Every time you see them, also the only thing that you know in your mind is fear. All right. So that's the thing. Okay. So now open for the questions. Is there any question right now?
So there's a good question coming up. So a lot of good questions already listed up here. So I'll ask
Wow.
you one by one. And friends who are here, please feel free to continue dropping in your questions. Now is the Q&A time, right? So
Okay.
from Tracy Anisha, right, in Facebook,
Okay.
managers have rights to solve problems between staff, but not related to the company. Okay, more like two staff, maybe they're fighting, or they're having problems with each other. What should they do? Can you do it as a
Okay.
manager?
Okay. If it's happening in the company and during working time, of course you have to stop it. If you see it as a manager, you have to stop it because this is counterproductive. They are supposed to do their work.
Right.
Quarreling is not a work, but sometimes you also have to listen why they quarrel also. So to be fair to them, it's not just about shutting them off, give them a few slap and tell them to go back to their seat. You have to solve the problem. So maybe it's a genuine problem, but then take a look at the problem. As far as I'm concerned, most of the time the problem could be related to work. If it's related to work, I think you should be happy in the sense that they are very concerned. That's why they fight for it. But if they are talking about personal thing, then you have to totally stop them. Maybe tell them to talk about it someplace else at some other time. So this is how we want to handle the conflict. So differentiate that. What is the problem? To me it's always like if I find that they are quarreling because of work, I'm okay. I'm okay because they put their commitment there. They put their commitment. But sometimes it's a vested interest. They want to do it easy and they don't want to help other people. That could be some issue with certain behavior. So we may need
Right.
to give counseling to certain people who may not want to be cooperative, only want to take an easy way out, and cause problem to others. That one is a behavioral issue. So if we cannot handle that, we bring it to our bosses or the HR, because behavior will determine your action. If you say no, you're not going to do anything. If you say yes, you go all out. You see, just the behavior, the mindset itself. So this is a very situational issue. We have to look at the situation very well.
Right.
Then work from there. And as a new manager, you might make some mistakes. Learn from it. Don't beat up yourself, like hell and so on. Okay.
So one of the common complaints, right, by new managers
Mm-hmm.
is earlier they are the most liked person before becoming a manager, right?
Mm.
And now
Mm.
suddenly as a manager, they have to make a lot of decisions that other people don't like sometimes.
Mm.
Okay, so how do they handle it?
Okay, I go back
A
to
few
the
of them.
previous things I mentioned.
Yeah,
You okay? First thing first is that when you are in this position, your behavior will change based on your role. So
right,
sometimes there are certain calls that you will make some unpopular decision. Those days, of course, you are friends,
right,
you are colleague, you are peers, but now you are superior. So superior, be very clear that you have certain responsibility. You need to achieve certain target or certain goal. So as long as your decision is, as for me, as long as the decision um, is relevant to achieving a goal, or you are doing something that is pro to the company, then it shouldn't be any problem. Okay. Well, people may not like it, but you have to think for bigger picture, think for the company. So one of the things that you want to do is you may want to tell your people, okay, we are here for the company, not for our own self. Hmm? Today the situation are different with this COVID-19 and so on. So we need to address issue in different way already. There will be a lot of things which can be unpopular, but we need to bite the bullet. Things are different today. Okay, so the tip is over here is make sure that whatever decision that you make, uh, it corresponds to the best of the company. It's for the company. At the end of the day, it's for the company, or for the organization, or for your team that relates to the company's goal. That's
right.
very important, so that your management will not blame you. Okay, so that your management will not blame you. So when you make such decision, you can justify. But if you are making a decision because you want to cite one friend, it's very hard to justify that. You have to come up with something that will have to convince people like hell. You know.
Mm.
Okay. Right.
Right.
So do the right thing, lah.
Suppose like when you're doing the right thing, one of the key things is explaining the whole situation also to
Yeah.
them, so that they
Mm.
can absorb it in a
Uh,
better way,
mm. Yeah.
right?
Not all of them will absorb it, but at least more people will understand, or the more
Right.
matured staff will understand. You see, the thing is that sometimes we give, as a manager, we always give instruction, but we didn't give them the why. We didn't
Right.
tell them the reason. So sometimes we tell them something, and then they will the people start using shortcut and so on, but they didn't know the consequences of it. Right. So it's good to tell them. If you do it the other way around, the customer will be very unhappy, or it may endanger your life or whatsoever. You have to tell them. You have to tell them. But it's good to tell them. And another thing is that when you tell them, you actually educate them.
Right.
You actually educate your people. Okay. So that's the whole thing. Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like
Okay.
Lichumi, Nasegrin has actually responded. Might be hard to answer this. How to differentiate between a good tiger, a great tiger, and a violent tiger? Okay. Tiger can create fear.
Tiger is only
Or
one type lah. Okay, for me, tiger is only one type lah. It's always very mean lah. It's very mean. But then you have to look at the situation. When the situation, yeah, like emergency, when there's fire, of course you cannot just tell your people, okay, let's be democratic over here. Who wants to go first? Raise up your hand. You don't have
Mm,
time for that. You have to yell people, get them out, and then tell them to stop whatever they are doing. Don't take out all the unnecessary thing. You have to really run out, not emergency, or maybe your customer is screaming already, for certain reason, and you have to start focusing, get everybody to focus, drop their job and focus on certain certain job, and that may not be comfortable to a lot of people. But again, we are not there to make people happy actually. But of course, if possible, we also don't want to make their life miserable. Okay, balance it up. So once a while is okay. Once a while, not every time. Every day like that means there's some problem already.
Okay,
Okay.
so here's a slightly longer question, okay, by Patpal
Okay.
Singh. As you can
Okay.
see, Patpal is very interested in leadership and management,
Oh yeah.
right? I'll read this question out to you, and then you just give you some time to talk. I will just share some other comments. So what is your dream manager's development curriculum? Areas or competencies to cover above and beyond what you shared just now. The duration, rough duration of the journey, methodology, apart from typical classroom sessions, what's your personal favorite methodology? All right, I'll give you some time to think about it, but I'll just read out some comments here, right? From CV Subra, what apart from upper management, manager has responsibilities to create a better workplace for the staff. Okay, that's right, very important. And then we have True Kropi, okay. Part of a manager's job is to create a better workplace for the staff under your care. Okay, we care for them; they will ensure themselves to back us up. All right, good point. Okay, so Lechumi says thank you, and then back to Patpal's question. Right, I know this is not a simple question, right? It's a long thing, but maybe you can give some of the things that you can share, from your experience.
Okay. So, Papal, I think he's a. Uh, not normally what I'll do is I will try to understand more the objective of the whole program. So if you want to
Right,
do a program, you need to know the objective and what is the current situation or the current problem that they are facing. Maybe
right,
they are facing that most of their managers are going to retire, and their new managers that are coming up are very new. So
right,
it depends on the situation. So when you understand the situation, then only you can devise a program or proposal to a client, right?
right,
So this normally what I'll do. 2 days the 2 days program, the 2 days normal program outside is may not be enough for such a situation. If you want to do something which is more comprehensive, this has something to do with the talent management as well. You do succession planning and so on. Okay, so this involves a lot more things. But the most important thing is, as I mentioned, we understand the objective of the company and what's the situation, and then from there itself you can come up with something which is more customized to the organization, because different organization will have different problem, different culture, different way of managing things, different type of bosses, different type of work environment, and all these things that come into play. So there's no fixed formula for that. So no fixed formula for that. But normally for a manager to be competent, let's say you leave them alone, sometimes it can be within a year or 2 years. That's quite fast already to become a good manager. Uh, but that also involves a lot of that person's motivation, that person, how keen that person wants to be a good manager and understand the material of being a manager. You know, uh, okay. So some people are in for just to do a job. So it's a different thing also, right? To focus. It's good to focus on a job, but to be a good manager, you need to have a spirit more than that, certain motivation level and so on. Okay. So I've no definite answer for this question, but if you do have something really delegate to ask further, you can always contact me again, and then I can discuss further. But I will always go back to the objective and the situation that you're facing. Huh?
yeah,
So
different
so
countries
so
will
that
different.
different. So I cannot say there's a formula. There's a clear cut formula. That if it fit here, it can fit in another place. It's just like some people that you hire, salespeople you hire, they did very well in that company, but when it comes to your company, they didn't do well. Okay, so the first few months or a year like that, they are trying to adjust to it, and because of they have different bosses. Those days their bosses maybe are more supportive. Today bosses not so supportive. So obviously the environment can actually influence the situation. So if the environment is not right, it'll take longer for that person, okay, or that person may give up. It's like that. You had the best durian seed, huh? Best durian seed in the world. Let's say Musang King, but and you biotech it. You did all the necessary thing to become one of the best seed in the world. But imagine you put it in the desert and you plant it there. Will it grow? Or not? So the environment has something to do with that person as well. It's not just that person alone, but also the environment. So these are real issues. Okay? If the environment are not right, then I mean they can't even support that person, and that person is not going to grow. The durian seed is not going to grow. Okay? So you have to look into a lot of area. So because I'm talking based on how we do consulting as well. We are looking at the situation, the culture, and so on. All right. Mm.
All right. So thanks for the answer, Prathpal. I hope it answered you somewhat. You can always get in touch with advance to get pick up tips to straight
Yeah.
this, right?
Now we can discuss. We can discuss. We can share ideas. Opinions.
Right. Okay. So another one is like before this, the person who is going to do the job, he or she is the star in the job. Maybe the star salesman, or the star
Mm.
saleswoman, or the star
Uh-huh.
engineer, right? Now suddenly
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
thrown to management, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And do you still have to be a star right now?
You can be a star if you know how to become a good manager, because this is a new job. This is a new role. Okay, but you also need to know that it will take some time for you to adjust to learn new skill. Those days you manage your own thing. Today you manage your thing as well as another 3 or 4 people under you. And yeah, and remember I mentioned become a good zookeeper. Now, different people have different behavior. So so if you have 10 people there, you have 10 different behavior. Then you have to deal with people differently, to actually manage their performance, right? Mm. So it might take some time also lah. It might take some time for this. Okay, and as you move along, you get some results, then you can see your star shining. That's the thing.
Okay, so I suppose you got to be a star and more managing people rather than be a star
Ah,
performer.
yourself. Yes, it's not. It, when you become a manager, it's not just about you, lah. Huh? You grow because of the result. And where does the result come from? It comes from your people as well, not just your own result. Your result is just part of your department result. Let's say you are running a department today, or a section. Okay, let's say a department. So you would have your set of results to achieve, but your people also have to achieve it for you on other areas. So you have to manage their performance, right? You have to manage, you have to plan their work, and then you have to manage a budget. As a manager, you have to do a lot of things. So today you want to be a manager, better be ready for that. Better be ready for that. It's not a journey, private jet and all this kind of stuff. You have to be ready for that. There are more things to learn. Those days, manager may have the luxury of a secretary, but today a lot of managers don't have secretary. They have to become their own secretary. They manage their own timetable, their schedule on their apps, and all these things. So these are the new managers. So it's pretty much different. So with the emergence of IR 4.0, you need to know how to use technology, you know, to address issues, to link to customers, or to talk to your people, and so on. So they have to learn a lot of new things. It's a lot more than those days.
So, friends, we are coming to the end of the show. If you have any last questions, kindly just drop it in here. And so, while waiting for any last questions, Advance, do you have any last one or two tips that you can share just now? I know you have a lot up your
One,
sleeves.
there are many things. Even the seasoned managers also will make mistakes. Seasoned managers will make mistakes, and so on. So it's also a learning thing. Learning thing. Sometimes these are the things that you would learn early. Sometimes there are things that you learn late. But the most important thing is you continue to learn. But there's always a common problem that always pop up to me in my session where people do ask me if I do all the good thing, my boss is another crappy guy, you know. What should I do? What should I do? So my only advice to you is that let's be clear that you cannot control other people. Yeah. Okay, that there is no magical pill over here. You just have to accept the fact you cannot control other people, but you can control yourself, right? So when you become a manager, okay, don't be like him lah. That's it. That's my advice lah. So people ask me, it's quite very common. If you ask me, oh, my boss very crappy, you know, just don't be like him. Like, otherwise you are not you are just as good as the person that you don't like. You know, I'm referring to that person's behavior, huh? Okay, so don't follow that kind of behavior. If you want to be a good manager, you can manage yourself better. Hmm? Don't do the wrong thing. Don't, you know what is right, what is wrong. Okay, don't do the wrong thing. Okay, that's my
Okay.
advice also lah.
So thank you very much, Advance, for being on the
Okay,
show.
all right.
Again,
Yeah.
friends, all of y'all here who have been throughout the whole conversation, thank you for following us. Patpal, thank you for your multitude of questions. Okay, Lechumi, we have friends here. Some of the names are not coming out. Okay, not popping out. Thank you. Right. We have Geraldine, we have Sherlyn, we have Subra, we have Rajib, we have Tracy, we have Arvin, One Kim. Okay, we have yeah. Right, so we are coming up to the end of the show. Thank you very much again, and we will see you again in another session. Okay, we hope to bring more learning sessions again to you, right to you here, and hope it benefits you with your work, with your managing your people, and your wonderful team. Right, Edward, do you have anything to share for today?
Well, I guess there's a lot actually, but but then we, you know, for the
Imparting
interest of
advice.
time lah, imparting advice. I believe you know what is right and what is wrong. Just do the right thing. Okay, and then continue to learn. Continue to learn. Be patient. It's a learning journey. You're not going to be a superstar manager in one day. Some people take 5 years, 6 years. They learn. But what are their learnings is either from formal learning, okay, like courses, or you learn from mistakes. Learn from mistakes. If you follow Jack Ma, he always emphasized on learning from mistakes. If you ever start a business school, it's all about outlining all the mistakes the entrepreneur will do. That's what he said. Okay, that's the thing. Be
Okay.
patient. Be patient.
I think patience is very important, right?
Yeah, patient with your people. You know, sometimes some of them are really cranky. You need to be patient to listen. Of course, certain time you need to make a stop. Certain time you need to make a stop. Okay, certain like I mentioned, certain time you need to turn into a tiger. That's it, but not all the time. Fine. Make sure it's in the right time.
Okay. So with that, bye bye everybody. Thank you very much for following the
Bye
show.
bye.
Again, Advance here. Thank you very much.
Yep.
If you all want to reach Advance in any way, feel free to reach him directly or through us in that training center. We'll see you again in another show. Bye bye.